Owen Jones in the building, and we are just days away from one championship putting on another amazing submission grappling event. Thanks to Tom DeBlas, this was originally scheduled for Kade Ruotolo versus Fabricio Andrey, but now Owen Jones stepping up to the plate on short notice. Owen, how have things been for you? I know you got the call up, and it was what, like maybe a month to prep?
Yeah, it was about like I guess a couple weeks. It was yeah, 4 weeks out almost exactly, right? I was obviously super excited. Unfortunately, I had to pull out of the Polaris, but luckily it kind of happened on good terms. And yeah, now I get to fight Hokage in a little rematch. Take one back. Trying to get level against these Brazilians. Get a lick back for the English.
Okay, so yeah, you're trying to get that lick back on the Brazilians, but this is also a rematch. A lot of people might not know in 2023, you guys were squaring off. It'll be almost 3 years since that date. He won by decision. Tell me a little bit about how that first matchup went down.
Yeah, I think at the time I was like a 18-year-old purple belt, and this was my first probably high level match, I guess. I mean, I had a match against Ash Williams before then, but this was like kind of the match that made me realize that I was quite close to that level. It was like a 15-minute decision where he managed to like pass my guard one time, I think, in the first 5 minutes, and the rest was like me just working from guard, trying to entangle him, trying to submit him. But it was a good match, more so like an eye opener for kind of how close we were in levels at the time. And I was just coming onto the Nogi scene then, so it was like my first time preparing for an actual Nogi tournament, and this was a couple months before I actually ended up winning trials. So it was a good confidence boost, and also a realization that this Nogi shit's pretty easy. So now I've switched full time to it. And it's good to get the rematch. Now I'm much bigger, much older, much more mature in many ways. My jiu-jitsu and also just in life. So be interesting to see, yeah, how we pair up now that we're in different stages of our life.
Yeah, that was going to take me to my next question. I was like, is this before or after the trials when you went on? When you think back to 2023 Euro trials and you look back at some of the wins you had, it was Wally Abdullah, toe hold, Jeremy Gianni, heel hook, Robert Deagle, points, Busovskin, points, Ash Williams, referee decision, and then Cami Donnelly by points. When you think back to the highlights that you had, does any stand out as a favorite?
From that match, oh, I guess for me, that tournament, the biggest win was Ash Williams because he was like the favorite to win the division, right? And everyone kind of ruled out everybody but him from winning. So going into the tournament, I knew if I beat him, my chance of winning would basically skyrocket, right? So going in there, obviously he was the one who I was kind of looking to have a match with and trying to beat, and then obviously beating Cam Donnelly in the final just is good because that like guaranteed my ticket to ADCC. But I would definitely say Ash is the number one, like that memorable one, like that kind of established myself as one of the best, because people who win trials but don't beat anybody high level or anybody with a name, you can get forgotten, right? But that kind of cemented that trials run as actual like a legit ADCC invite when I beat ADCC vet Ash Williams and then other high level compares on the way.
It's so crazy how credit is so tied to the name of someone in jujitsu. And I feel like that's honestly a lot of the times why certain fighters won't take certain matchups. For you, you have ADCC that you have to worry about in Poland. And stepping up on short notice against Fabricio is a really big name to take on. So for you, like, what was your perspective? Like, yeah, you can stay ready and like competitively active in the lead up to ADCC, but it's also kind of taking you away from focusing on that rule set. So what were some of the pros and cons you were dealing with when Tom gave you that call and you were like, let me think about it, or was it an immediate like, oh, we're taking it?
Nah, any opportunity to get a lick back of someone who's beat me before, I'm taking it. There's no hesitation, man. If it's at 155, I'll fight anyone. I don't care. Especially someone who I definitely think I can beat. I mean, like, for example, Fabricio obviously beat me ages ago. So it's like I would love to also see where we're at right now. And I'm very confident in my skills going into this match that I can submit him, if not dominate him. So that kind of also makes it much easier of a decision. I mean, I'm always down to fight. I mean, as people know, right, I'm down to fight kind and anyone. It doesn't matter. Like I'll show up and I'll go out and I'll scrap. Jiu-jitsu doesn't really matter that much to me in that regard. That you lose some matches, you win some matches. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect your career as a whole. But I'm gonna go out there and try and beat everyone I can, right? And if I have an opportunity to get a win back over someone who's beat me, I'm definitely gonna take it. There's gonna be no hesitation in that for me. So I would say that's kind of the big thing coming into this match. it's been a while since I've had the opportunity to fight him, and the fact that it's on the table, especially on a promotion like one, it's one of the biggest jiu-jitsu events right now. So pretty sick to kind of do it on one and yeah, get a lick back, man.
I'm excited. I hope there's going to be some type of press conference and then you guys can like go banter back and forth a little bit. You might need a translator. You are definitely a top trash talker in the jiu-jitsu world. But does this match really need any of that, or do you think it's just the technical mastery that is going to be the show for the people? Do you think it's going to need any of the banter?
This one, honestly, no. I think like Fabricio is a very likable person, so it's kind of hard for me to find anything wrong. He's this little anime character, paints his nails, he makes some funny content. But I think overall, this match is just going to be mad entertaining to watch. He never comes in stalls. I don't come in stalls, so I think it's going to be a good clash of styles. It's going to be a lot of entertaining scrambles, and I think inevitably it's going to end up as a banger match. Like people are not going to watch it and be like, "This is a snooze fest," and try and turn it off. So I think there will definitely be some back and forth banter. I mean, you know how I come. I move that way, but I think it will be much less than other matches, and I think inevitably it's going to be a good show for people to see. No matter what, it's going to be a bang.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have the fans in Lupini Stadium on their feet. When it comes to Fabricio being so likable and kind of hard to make an enemy out of him, how do you plan to live up to his emotes that he does? He does the Hokage power stomp. He has his little headstands he does as celebrations sometimes. So have you put any thought into that, or is it all going to be kept close to the vest, a secret until showtime?
I mean, I always put thought into these things. I definitely don't care too much about his start emote. I've seen it before when I fought him the first time. I mean, like the emote, if he wins, I mean, he's definitely not going to win, so I don't need to worry about that. But I definitely have an emote ready for when I beat him, just to get a lick back. But that one is definitely going to be a little secret. That one's going to be one for the people at home. They're going to enjoy that one.
Yeah, there's definitely some iconic ones. Like I don't know what did you do after the armbar with
The little
uh
little seat belt or the samurai sword, depends what people want to call it. But yeah, after Gearbeg, that one was nice. But we have to come with
yeah,
something original for this one, a new one, a new one. I've got something cooking up. I've
yeah.
got something cooking up.
But those moments are some of the most iconic moments in jiu-jitsu. Like when Victor Hugo got a submission against Nicky Rod after he was $1 million man, he's like making it rain. I just feel like those moments really make it. Ryan Aiken and his style. So yeah, that's why I appreciate the grapplers that do something a little bit more fun with everything. I saw one post that you made that made me laugh. It was kind of just roasting some of the matchmaking of UFC and BJJ and putting it into comparison with some of the matchups that One Championship has been putting on. They're really competitive. So when it comes to One Championship, you know that you're never going to be given this like easy walkover mismatch fight. And we're not looking ahead against, past Fabricio or anything. But do you see yourself competing on one long term and taking these high level matches consistently?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've kind of mentioned this, like, I'm not at a stage in my career where I want to have like scrub stomping matches, right? Like, obviously, this is a good thing for certain people, but there are things I want to accomplish. There are high level people I want to beat. I want to win ADCC. I want to take on people like Dante Leon, Colabay, who are all kind of one athletes. And this kind of gives me an avenue to beat Fabricio and go on to fight those people. So, my goal at the minute in my kind of career and trajectory, right, is to beat as many high level people I can at 155 or 145. And then once I'm kind of satisfied with that, maybe I've won ADCC a couple times or I beat the best guys in the division. I've got all the rematches back. Then after like many years, maybe when I'm like 27, 28, then I can fight, the hobbyist uncle and get my little highlight in my paycheck. But at the minute, that's not my goal. So I guess it's each to their own, right? If you just want to go in there and get paid and get highlights, this is cool. But for me, the highlights mean all the more when you get it, when it means something. Like for example, ADCC is a good option, a good thing to look at, right? Where the celebrations are so kind of iconic, or they feel I get so much dopamine from it because of where it happened and how it happened. Like I beat potential people to win, like Gabriel Souza was silver medalist, and then Gearbeg just beat Dorian. So these were like high level competitors that I then submitted, and then had like that kind of adrenaline rush and them emotes and those celebrations, right? And they mean a lot to me. Whereas there are times where I've beat people who I was meant to beat and maybe hit like a cool submission, but I don't feel nearly as much emotional attachment to them matches. So I definitely think for me the highlights are cool. I like my edits, man. I like the little reels, putting that stuff together. But I definitely think as like a sentimental value and like what actually matters to me is when I beat someone of like status, like someone who I value as a good grappler or is very well accomplished, and then that makes it all the more. better for me. So like beating Fabricio, obviously he won Gi Worlds. He's very high level. People respect him a lot. So that will also mean a lot for me when I do beat him in the rematch.
And also a big win for you was against Devonte Johnson. I know it's in the squads format, but Devonte is a massive human. Do you ever see yourself getting back into those kind of absolute style matches? And if so, is there anyone that you think you could also take out? I know the big one was Kainan Duarte at CJI too. Survived that one, but is there any other big names that you're like, ooh, that'd be a fun absolute type match?
I mean, I'm always down for absolutes, right? Because they're especially coming in as the lighter guy. There's always a win-win for me. Like if I lose, people kind of expect you to lose, and if you win, you get that glory of beating somebody who you weren't meant to beat, right? And I'm always a fan. I think stylistically, I do well against bigger people. Like obviously Devontae, Kynan are good examples of this. But who would I say? I guess like matches against like Victor Hugo would be pretty sick, and like people like this who are like obviously top level and also very big, but it could also be very unpleasant at the same time. But I'm definitely willing to jump into some absolute brackets and test my luck on a maybe, I guess ADCC absolute, right? If they want to put me in there, I'm down to do that. We can run that one for sure.
Yeah, I definitely hope that you're in the ADCC absolutes. I've been going through a lot of the different names that we're seeing. Dorian Olivares, Nico Mikulas, which you might know him from your time at Los Banditos. Do you remember a guy named Nico?
Are
Yeah,
you
I know
guys
Nico. Yeah,
friends, former
yeah,
friends?
yeah, 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 I know Nico. Yeah, former friends. No, not former friends. Yeah, I know him. We're friends there. We're
Okay,
enemies
so
now.
enemies now. Now that it's ADCC season, do you miss
Nah,
Los
nah, nah.
Banditos at all?
I do, man. It's a good vibe there. Obviously, I miss London. I have my home gym Apex there, and then yeah, obviously Los Banditos with good training. We have Ono Flanagan, Taylor, Nico, as you're saying, my boy Faris Ben Lankadem, the GOAT. So there's a lot of people there who I haven't seen in a while that I do miss, but I'm sure I'll be back there soon enough. Get training down. But pretty sick there. I'm trying to think who else there is I'm missing out. Obviously Joe, the head coach, stuff like that. Sylvie, there's a bunch of guys there, man. That's sick. It's good training there. I do miss it.
But now you are fully settled in Atlanta, opened up your own gym with Apex. What is it like training in Atlanta? Like, do you feel like you're getting enough talented people at your level that you can be training with and staying sharp for the competition, like the elite level competition you're at?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like consistent training partners that I have are like the Ardilla brothers. They both come to train with me, and then Ernesto, who are like the ones that come multiple times a week. And then, for example, I just had DeAndre here for about I think it was like 8 days, 7 days, something like that. So I also have the option now, being in America, to bring other high level guys to come train. I can put them in a place to stay and get high level training that way. So I definitely think there are like ways to kind of manipulate the training to get kind of productive training and stay in good shape. But I would definitely say to be like ready for ADCC, I will be going to like San Diego to do a camp with PJ Barch. But I think this is inevitable anyway. I don't think there's anywhere where I could like live and do a productive camp there. I think the best way to do a camp is to kind of get out of your comfort zone and go somewhere where you can just focus on purely training and getting into the best shape possible. So for me, that will be San Diego this year. Last year it was Austin, right? So I guess I would say like to maintain just being in good shape and jiu-jitsu, I would definitely think Atlanta's a good spot for me. But for camp and getting ready for like ADCC, a big tournament, I'll definitely be taking myself elsewhere to get into proper shape and get ready for that.
And so, is it the visa that was causing all that those problems at the one flow grappling event? Are you like what is your visa now that gets you in the United States for such long periods of time?
Yeah, I mean it's all done now. I have the athlete visa and everything's all locked in. So I mean it was basically I was in like
Ooh,
a limbo phase where I was like I couldn't leave the UK and they were holding my passport and a bunch of stuff. This so I had to pull out the Gianni Grippo match. But obviously I got that win over him now on Polaris, so good to get that one out the way. And yeah, but now we're all good. I'm free. I'm a free man, free agent.
Did you keep up with the West Coast trials? Did you think that Gianni shouldn't have won?
I was there actually. I was watching. Obviously I mean I don't necessarily know the rules too much because they're very like subjective in times. I definitely think Mejia should have won, but I don't know if it was necessarily points or not. But I also have mad respect for Grippo for kind of turning that around and going out there and tapping him after being in such like a terrible position, to be honest, right? Mejia's on your back is like the trials final. A lot of people just give up at that point. So for him to kind of show some heart, turn it around on him and get the submission is also pretty sick. I'm trying to think if I thought Mejia was going to win. He was kind of like my prediction to win, but Also, it's good for my stocks that Gripper won, so I'm not going to complain about that. I just beat him. He just won the trials, so European trials above American trials yet again.
What do you say to the people that try to say that ADCC is dead?
ADCC is dead. I would never say it's dead. I would definitely say that these trials are not what they once were. Like I remember, I guess when I was thinking about trials, I was thinking about people like PJ Barch, the Ruotolo brothers, even like you had Cody Steele, Ethan Creniston, Nicky Ryan. You had a bunch of like Nicky Rod. I think there was more guys with profiles that were actively doing the tournaments, but most of those guys are now just qualified for actual ADCC. So it's now giving the opportunity for more, I guess, young up and comers to kind of come in and ruffle some feathers, I would say. But ADCC is always going to be around, I think. The only thing is, I guess, CGI has kind of dampened its effect a little bit, right? But I would say it's still the most prestigious tournament to win in Nogi, and I definitely want to win it. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with people that say ADCC is dead. Like, I think sometimes people are like a little bit egocentric and they're like, oh, yeah, we're like, we used to have these people in this division, and now we're not doing it. And I'm like, okay, so you guys aren't doing it. ADCC is dead now. Like, I think the heavyweight division is the most exciting it's ever going to be this year, especially because now it's in Poland. So a bunch of different people from different areas, like in the Middle East, can compete. So I don't know. I definitely don't think ADCC is dead. I think there's potential for it to be really big in Poland. Like, I think it might be expensive. Like, what is your anticipation of like what the crowd will be like? I know you experienced 2024, so maybe not the level of Vegas.
but could be
Yes.
close.
So I mean, this would be my thing, right? But actually, when I won trials, it was in Poland, and the atmosphere when I won trials was honestly very good. The only thing I'll say is, as a selling point, I think it is harder that it's in Poland. Obviously, as a European, it's pretty sick that it is in Europe, right? That's like quite cool. But for example, if I'm trying to convince my dad to come watch me at ADCC, telling my dad, yo, a weekend in Vegas compared to telling him a weekend in Krakow, Poland, one of them is much easier sell than the other. So I would definitely say Vegas kind of,
Oh, I feel like it's obviously Krakow, Poland. I would rather go to than
Than
Vegas.
Vegas,
I
but I
used to
used to
live
live
in
in
Vegas,
Vegas,
so
so
I'm
I'm
biased.
biased.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's for some people, right? But also Americans tend not to leave America. This is also a very prevalent thing,
Yeah.
right? Like I know a ton of Americans that don't have passports and they never leave America. So then convincing them to go, yo, go watch a jiu-jitsu event in Poland, and they probably some of them might have never heard of Poland. So I guess my point is just Vegas appeals to a wider audience, but Poland doesn't. However, the European crowd are also known for being more rowdy and more like boyish and loud, and like hooliganism is quite a bigger thing from Europe, right? So I mean, it could be a banger. I don't know how it's gonna sell, what the crowd's gonna be like, and I don't know who's gonna actually kind of cause that. Like who's gonna have the most fans. Like I reckon like Mateusz Szczęsnyski's matches are gonna be insane. Like people are gonna be watching them cheering crazy. Whereas like I guess the usual like American suspects that would have the bigger crowds might not have as bigger crowds in Poland, right? It might be more biased towards those people. Like I think Matthias Gamrot is also in there. He might also bring a crazy crowd. So I guess that would also maybe change it up a little bit. But I think it could be sick. I definitely think it could be sick.
I definitely think there's potential. Some Americans can get a little cultured out there, but you have one championship up first. How is everything going with that for you? So I guess it's really an easier cut.
It is an easier cut, but there is the hydration. So I guess this kind of adds like a different element to it. But this will be my first time weighing in with hydration. But I think 155 for me is pretty good. I always walk around like 165, 170. So just a little diet to kind of get closer to that mark. And then, yeah, a small cut on the week of, and then I should be good to go. But I would say the training is going very well. Feel like I'm in good shape. I haven't been in good shape like this, I think, in a while, right? Maybe before even my Julian match or my even my gripper match, I wasn't in as good shape as I think I am right now. So it's kind of interesting to see how that will play out. Being in good shape, camp's going well, no injuries, nothing's kind of stopping me from training. So I think that was pretty sick. I'm happy with how everything's gone so far. Just the next things to do will be like go to Thailand, make sure I kind of adjust the jet lag well, stay hydrated, get into that kind of new schedule, with the time and stuff like that. But so far, I can't complain, man. Everything's been good. This is pretty sick. I'm happy.
And any special preparation for doing jujitsu in the ring?
I do not. No. The only special preparation I've been doing is painting my nails for Fabricio. That's it.
Okay, well, that is a very special thing to do. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. If we could get any prediction or something that you want to tell the fans about for your match coming up, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a bomb burner. I think we're going to go out there, going to scrap. Eventually, I'm going to end up on top, pass his guard, take his back, and strangle him in front of everyone. This is going to be the prediction. The little RNC for the boys.
Yes, and then they're going to make it rain 50K. I know Kade got it for his knockout last time, but whenever there's a submission too, yeah, that'd be fucking crazy. Is there
That would be
any
sick.
seminars that you're thinking about doing when you're in Bangkok?
I am not, but I maybe I will do one. I don't know yet. I haven't really looked into it. I've been mainly focused on the actual match, just keeping everything prepared. My main focus is yeah, coming in 100% for the match. So I guess I haven't really thought about much else apart from that. But yeah, that would say my main focus. I'm locked in for the match.